All right, so I asked you to think critically about form, particularly the past tenses that we use and are used in the passage called Ripening at the Center of the World. Let's look at that passage again. My encounter with the green banana started. What tense is that? Simple past tense, past completed action. Started on a mountain road in Brazil. My ancient Jeep was straining up through the countryside. Straining. You can see this one is the past continuous, and you can visualize this continuous action of how the Jeep was trying and struggling and straining and having a difficult time and moving with great effort up through the countryside when the radiator began to leak. Simple past tense, simple completed action. 10 miles from the nearest mechanic. The overheated engine forced me to stop at the next village. A simple past tense, completed action. Please note that over here we have an ed, overheated. But this one, when we use this one, it's used as an adjective. So the overheated engine. Notice that we can use past participles as adjectives, and we have to distinguish them from simple past tense forms like started and forced. All right, forced is a simple past. People gathered around to look, simple past. 3 streams of hot water spouted from holes in the radiator, simple past. That's easy to fix, a man said, simple past. He sent a boy for some green bananas and assured me everything would work out. Notice we use simple past for all of these. We also use would work out because this one is the past of what? What does he say in person at the time? He says, don't worry, everything will work out. So everything will work out in the future. Here we use reported speech. He assured me everything would work out. Continuing on, we see green bananas. He smiled. So he smiled at that moment. That's a completed past action. And everyone agreed. We chatted. Right? So all of these are simple past. We chatted while I was wondering about the green bananas. So this activity was going on for a long time. It was continuing. It was in progress. I was wondering and wondering and wondering and wondering. Chatted. I was still wondering and wondering about the green bananas. I didn't want to appear ignorant. Didn't want. Here we have the past, simple past in the negative form. We use the auxiliary did with the negative not, didn't, and the base form want. I didn't want to appear ignorant, so instead, I remarked on the huge rock formations all around us. Remarked, talked about, noticed, said something. Do you see the tall one over there? Asked the man. So the question is present tense, but asked, simple past, because it's part of the story. That rock marks the center of the world. That's a present tense compared to I looked, simple past, to see if he was teasing me. If he was teasing me while he told me this story. But his face was serious, simple past. The center of the world, I repeated, simple past, trying to show interest. He nodded. Simple past, completed action. The absolute center. Everyone around here knows it. Simple present. Why present? Because we have a factual or habitual action. So, know, this is a non-action verb, and it's used usually in simple form. So here, in simple present. Everyone is a singular pronoun. So, singular, third person, needs an S on the verb. That's why we have the word knows with the S. Now, continuing the past. At that moment, the boy returned, simple past, with my green bananas. The man sliced one in half, simple past, and pressed the cut end against the radiator, simple past. What happened next? The banana melted into a glue against the hot metal, plugging the leaks instantly. All right, you know what it means to plug something up. It creates some sort of a filling, so there's no longer a hole. Now there's a banana that looks gluey and keeps the water from leaking out of the radiator. Notice that we're using the ing form because that is the result of the banana melted into glue in that hole. We could also write it this way. We could also say the banana melted into a glue against the hot metal, and then we would use simple past to be parallel. We can say, and plugged the leaks instantly. So that's another way that it might have been written. Everyone laughed at my astonishment. Simple past tense. They refilled my radiator and gave me extra bananas to take along. All of those are simple past completed actions. An hour later, after one more application of green banana, my pesky radiator and I reached our destination. Reached is the simple past. So all of those are one action after another, and each of those actions is complete. It's not a continuous action. And pesky, what does that mean? It means kind of annoying. It's a rather informal word. All right, so that is his experience in Brazil. He didn't forget it. He remembered that, and then he returned. So as he completes the story, he says, when I returned to the United States, simple past, I thought about the meaning of these events, simple past. For some time, I had been wondering about those experiences, which educators call learning moments. I had been wondering. This one is, can you tell me, what tense is this? This is past perfect continuous. Continuing to wonder. So notice over here in the first column, notice that we see the author saying, I was wondering. And here in the second column, we see, for some time I had been wondering. So the past perfect continuous is used in relation to the simple past thought, the simple past returned, to indicate that the wondering had begun before returning, before thinking back or reflecting on the meaning of those events. For some time, I've been wondering about those experiences which educators call, simple present here because it's a general truth, learning moments. And I realized, simple past, I had just had two of them. I realized simple past and had. Now the word just here is actually not part of the verb. It's an adverb. All right, so you can make this sentence without the word just and say, I realized I had had two of them. Now notice, if you have those two words together, one of them is the auxiliary, that's the first one, and the other one is the main verb, that's the second one. And when we pronounce them, the main verb is long and stressed, the auxiliary verb is short. So listen to how I say it again. I had just had. I realized I had just had two of them. So this happened, as past perfect indicates, before the realization occurred. First, being North American, I had never paid the slightest attention to the green banana. Notice the adverb never is placed between the auxiliary and the main verb. The adverb just comes between the auxiliary and the main verb. I had never paid the slightest attention, not even a tiny bit of attention, to the green banana. Probably this means while he was in Brazil. He was no longer in Brazil. That happened beforehand, before he returned. So that's why we use the past perfect here. But suddenly, on that mountain road, its special potential and my need had come together. Potential. What is a potential? That means something that can change or develop, usually giving more power. So the special potential of the green banana. So, you usually think of that as a fruit and something that you eat, but you don't think about it as something that will glue your radiator back together. That's what he's talking about. So that special potential and my need. So notice that we have one noun here, potential, and another noun here, need. These two things had come together. So they had come together in past perfect. It means in a time frame prior to the time that I returned to the United States. And as I reflected further, simple past, I understood that this chance encounter had shown me the special genius of those people. So as I reflected further, I understood something. This was at what point? At the point of return or at the point that the author was in Brazil? As I reflected further, that means after returning to the United States, I understood that this chance encounter, the accidental meeting of those people, had shown me in the way past perfect, the special genius of those people. So these two tenses, simple past and past perfect, are at different time frames. The have shown is farther back in time. Now the second learning moment, the importance of the rock, marking the center of the world, took a little longer to comprehend. So the second learning moment. So this is learning moment number one, special genius of those people, and here's learning moment number two. And the second one took a little while longer to understand or to comprehend. Gradually, I realized that we tend to define the center world as a place where we are known. Okay, so notice that these are all present tenses here. We tend to define the center of the world as a place where we are known. This is passive voice, present tense, and where we know others. That is a present tense. So this whole thing is in the present tense. And where things mean something to us. All of this here is in present tense because this is something that is basically a truth. Right? I realized that we tend to do thus and such. The lesson was, simple past, that every place has special meanings for the people in it. All right, so this is has, meaning factual, general truth. It's true today as much as it was a long time ago. In a way, every place represents the center of the world. So here again, we use simple present tense in order to give the idea that it is an habitual fact, a general truth. All right, so now you can see a number of ways that the simple past is used, the past progressive, the past perfect. So these are all used in this passage.